Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the FV4202. It's the Tier 8 British Premium Medium Tank located on the northwest board of Pearl River Encounter under the command of the TheCrazyPlatypus. Well, we've featured this tank before. It's a bit of a mismatch of other British tanks, mainly the cross between you might say a Centurion, a Comet, and also a FV201, the heavy tank. Yes, it's got combinations and design features from all of these tanks together in a mishmash. A bit of a what we call bubble and squeak tank. Well, the TheCrazyPlatypus is on this game, and she's got Bozak 81 as her platoon mate in an ELC M90. The gun is a 20-pounder. That's equivalent to an 85mm gun you might find on a Russian tank. But the difference is it's got a high-velocity shell, which means that it is capable of doing considerable pan. It will go through 225mm of armor with standard 226, sorry, of standard armor with 230 alpha, and with the premium rounds it goes through 258. So at this tier it's quite a decent pen for a medium tank. It's also got incredibly good armor on the turret, 200mm at the front, but only 90 at the sides and rear. It's a nice shape as well, with an internal magnet, which makes it very difficult to pen this thing. Good shot. And again, this is the thing, it's a high velocity shell, 1020 meters per second, which means it's point and shoot at the enemy. Just put your cursor on the target and bang, there you go. Just went straight through that Leopard prototype, no problem at all. Just wait for the reload. The reload's one of the problems. It's 7.67 by the book, but you can see that TheCrazyPlatypus has got 6.75, which is reasonable. She's knocked a second off. Now, they made 3 prototypes of this tank, and only one exists now, the one at Bollington. There was another one which went to the Royal Engineers, Arini, and the third one, well, they don't know where that one went. It was probably used as a range target somewhere. But yeah, there's only one FV4202 in existence. It's in the Vehicle Conservation Centre at Bovingdon Tank Museum, the tank museum. No problem into that one. Nice little high roll. Oh, wasn't loaded. You see there, not loaded. And of course, remember the Leopard prototype's got a 105mm gun, so don't really want to receive a round back from him because that is probably going to hurt. As I say, it does have excellent pen on par with the Centurion. Good gun depression as well, 10 degrees of gun depression. Superb accuracy, obviously down to that high velocity shell. And the lower forehead also has an auto bounce. So if the tank hits if a round hits that forehead, the way that it's sloped down, it will just bounce straight off. Another feature that they were trying, which eventually ended up in the shape of the turret for the Centurion. All that SU-101's in a whole world of trouble now. If he stays where he is, unfortunately the reload is actually giving him the chance to escape. Oh, that looked so good, so meaty. If the TheCrazyPlatypus had managed to track him, then she would have just held him there until her teammates finished him off. It's coming back up again, which is only showing the really heavy armor at the top, so she needs to back away because, yeah, he's looking in this direction and she's showing the side of her tank at the moment. The sides of the hull are fairly weak, and so's the front. It's only 50.8mm on the hull, but obviously with the good gun depression, you don't really want to show that to the enemy at all. What you want to show is the top of the turret, and the enemy will bounce off. Lovely shot there. Took out the SU-101. Even when he was showing his toughest armor, it didn't help him. Well, there's 3 tanks up on the enemy, so it looks like they are going to win this game. but looks can be deceptive. Things can go pear-shaped very, very quickly. It's a very British expression, saying things go pear-shaped. He's got a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour. Ooh, now he almost had the, she almost had the T30 there. Get another one in. Waiting for him to back up. He's trying to go inside. Yep, went through, no problem. Remember that high velocity shell just carved its way through that nice penetration. But you can see that the TheCrazyPlatypus is using APCR virtually all the time in this game. Oh, we've got a Shrek nearby. And that T30 is probably looking this direction still. Yes, it is. But she managed to sneak in a quick round and gets a nice little high roll. Ooh, Skoda in the distance. Now, line it up, let it settle. Yeah, go for it, go for it. Oh, it ricochets off because of the angle. He went down the cliff just at the right moment to avoid the hit. But yep, she got him this time. So that's 2 kills now. The T30's looking away. We've got the rear of his turret. And she gets the kill. 3 kills now. Now, is that Shrek has gone, or is he? No, he has gone. Which means there's only 3 enemies left: the Skoda T50, an M53, M55, and a Tiger 2. And there's the M53, M55. Got 1 round in. Again, we're still firing APCR. She could fire standard AP. Oh, missed out the chance there to get the kill. And she's just going to drive forward. The Arty stunned him. He's only got stunned for a little while longer. She auto-aimed on, and there's the kill. I don't think the Arty got the stun assist off that one. The Skoda's not near, is nearby. There he is. And this is where it gets a bit dicey for him. 1 in, kill shot, just go around the corner, that's it. Avoid the return, and just go straight over the edge, and that is 5 kills. So now it's just the Tiger 2. If she gets this, she gets the top gun. And that'll be a nice end to this game. Last enemy. Wait for the settle, that's it. Gonna need at least 2 more like that. In fact, she might need 3 if she doesn't get help from her teammates. Go for it. Yes, right into the engine bay. Last shot. Here we go to finish the game. Yes! Nice one. That was a good round by the TheCrazyPlatypus. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for the TheCrazyPlatypus in the FV4202. She managed to get a 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points to her own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. She managed to get 5 exactly, and a Leather Slayer's medal for killing 2 enemy tanks or tank destroyers in a battle, at least 1 tier higher than herself. Remember, she was tier 8. She took out a T30 during that game and an M53, M55. And she got the top gun as well when she killed that last enemy, the Tiger 2, right at the end of the game. Her win rate in that battle, 7,280 Super Unicum Standard and quite a bit more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, she didn't get the highest damage in the game because that actually went to the Skoda T56 on the enemy team, picked up a high caliber for 4,620 hit points, so slightly more than she did. The second highest damage actually went to the Barask on her own team, who managed a Confederate and 3,907. And the third highest damage went to the TheCrazyPlatypus with 3,433. However, by compensation, she did get the highest number of kills in the game. She got 6. The next highest being the Conway, the Skoda T56, the Skoda T50, and the SU-101 all got 2 kills apiece. So, yeah, she was 3 times better than the rest of them. And when it came to base XP, she was one of only 2 tanks who managed to get over 1,000. She managed to get 1,518. The Barass managed 1,088. And the next one after that was the T55A on her own team with 920. So pretty solidly above the others in her capacity, her skill in that one. She racked up the damage fairly quickly. In fact, she was doing some nice finishing off work on those enemy vehicles and incredibly difficult shots as well, because some of them actually did have decent armor against her. So it was nice to see an SU-101 being taken out when you can only see the tough armor right at the top of the vehicle. But again, it's that high velocity shell. It really does work very well indeed. She fired 28 rounds, got 22 direct hits on the enemy, 18 penetrations, 3,433 hit points, of which 1,770 were at more than 300 meters. So a fair bit of work was done at long range. One hit received. It was a non-pen. She was lucky on that. 360 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, and 825 hit points of spotting assist. On a free-to-play account, she earned 76,938 credits, but she did fire an awful lot of APCRs, sometimes when she didn't need to. And I think that may have been that she forgot that she was firing APCR and didn't switch back to the AP. If she had, she would have got the same results, because most of the tanks she was up against were very thin armor, except, of course, for that SU-101. And therefore she would have got the pens, but unfortunately, because she used premium, she actually ended up with a loss for the game of 27,662 credits, 25 bonds, because of course it was a mission completion, and 1,518 base XP. 101 for this being a premium vehicle took away 1,619 experience points altogether. Let's have a quick look at the armor again, so you can see exactly what this vehicle's all about. It's about that turret, really, and the fact that it can go hull down. 10 degrees of gun depression means you can hide the weak hull from the enemy. You can see it's only impacted armor on the front plate there is only 50.8, but with the angling comes up to 109. Lower plate 76.2, but with the angling goes up to 124. And the sides of the tank, well, it's got spaced armor, which are shields over the actual tracks area, which is 6 millimeters. And 20 millimeters, I suppose, there for the tracks or whatever is in the way. And 50.8 millimeters is the sides of the vehicle. But just look at that turret. It's very, very meaty indeed. It's 200 millimeters around the turret ring area. Very difficult to get the rounds in. The internal mantlet helps as well. 200 millimeters there. That auto bounce area, that angled top of the turret, which actually makes 80 millimeters thickness turn to 177. But the angling is so acute that a round will literally bounce off. And if this thing goes hull down and looks at you over a ridgeline, look at that. It goes up to 266 millimeters, and it's almost certainly going to ricochet a shell straight off the vehicle. We look at the live version so people can see exactly how difficult it is to pen. Yeah, you can see it's the turret. It's all about the turret. And that's what the British were thinking when they actually put this tank together. They were thinking about, yeah, you're not going to see the hull. What you're going to see is the turret, and you're not going to be able to pen it because it's just too tough to get through. So that's what they were doing. Let's have a look at the modules. Okay, this is the module layout. The more conventional layout now. We've got the gunner on the left-hand side and the commander, the TC, directly behind him, kicking him in the back. And there we've got the radio on the left-hand side of him. Loader on the right-hand side of the tank. Driver in the recline position. Yep, this is one of those first few tanks to actually have a reclined driver. Sitting up front, we're on the left-hand side of the vehicle. Obviously, it's a British tank with a big ammo rack in the floor right next door to him. But remember, that's virtually, the angling is so acute there. Rounds will more likely bounce off, even though the armor's fairly thin. There's a big ammo rack right in the center of the tank, underneath the turret basket. And at the back, we've got the engine sandwiched between 2 fuel tanks and a transmission behind. So it's a fairly conventional layout, which, of course, you think is standard in most modern-day tanks, except for the driver being on the left-hand side. Most modern tanks, you'd expect the driver to be sitting in the center, right in the center of the tank. Regardless. So, yeah, I think that's about the only major difference. So, yep, that's where to aim to get the shells in to get an ammo rack. I think you're better off actually aiming, trying to get through the hull at the front. But if he's only showing you the turret, good luck with that, because you're not going to get through. It's going to be incredibly difficult to get a shell into this tank if he's only showing you the turret, or if the Crazy Platypus is only showing you the turret. So, yeah, difficult tank to kill when it's being played correctly. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. It's certainly very nice to see an FV4202 being handled correctly. So many people buy this tank. Well, it's not a big seller, but they buy this tank and they just don't know how to play it right. And therefore they play it where the hull can be seen. And consequently, they get wiped out fairly quickly because you just aim for the hull. It's the weakest. Yeah, it's a good tank if it's played in the right way, and it certainly was this on this occasion. And congratulations to the Crazy Platypus. If you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.